Welcome back, guys, to Faithfully Ever After. I'm Alex.
And I'm Maya.
And today we're actually going to talk about love after the storm.
And we like to kick off with a scripture. And today's scripture is Psalms 147, verse 3. And it says, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So when we're at our low, when we're hurting, when things are tough, God can heal. God can bind it up. He heals wounds.
Now, love after the storm. I think the storm can be divided into many categories. This dog. I don't like your dog today. He keeps licking my hand, and I'm not a fan of that.
No.
Yeah. He's a licking storm.
She.
Okay. She. There you go. He, she. Okay. Guys, love after the storm. Now, rebuilding trust and hope after the pain. Now, pain is a little hard to heal from. So how do you rebuild trust and hope after, let's say you had a really, really, really big fight? Maybe you guys can talk to me about that. Or maybe you guys cannot talk to me about that.
Well, it's a journey. I think I'm trying to think of the phases of these situations. Usually a big fight starts with overwhelming emotions. And I think then there's a season of grief. So
A season of anger. There's a few emotions that go through it.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. You're upset, you're fueled, you're angered, and then you're hurt and you're just hanging on by a thread, whatever it may be. And then you need to make a choice. That's
Well-
ultimately what it comes down to. Am I going to forgive and let this go? Or am I going to hold on to this? And who hurts when you hold on to it and you don't choose to forgive?
The person holding on to it.
Not just the other person,
That's
the
right.
person holding on to it.
Yeah. What do they say? When you forgive, you take away the other person's ability to hurt you.
Yeah.
When
You've-
you forget, say that
That's
again.
good.
When you forgive, you
Uh-huh.
take away the other person's ability to hurt you
To continue hurting you.
because you've
Good.
forgiven.
Yeah.
You've forgiven.
Now, the idea, okay, so our relationship is a journey. It's a journey into its own. And it's going to be filled with betrayal and heartbreak and deep disappointment. Now, how does faith and forgiveness play a vital role in starting again? Now, see, here we go. We're starting again.
I think that forgiveness. Yeah, I think you have to understand where the word sin comes from and what is a sin that you need to be forgiven for, right?
Tell me.
Sin comes from the word hata, and it's a Hebrew word, and it's actually means missing the mark. And we're missing the mark on God's intended purpose for our life, God's intended purpose for our marriage. And we sin, and we're literally missing the mark. And Jesus died for our sin, and he died so we would be closer, and he would bridge the gap between us and the Father. And that's where forgiveness comes into play in our marriage. We forgive one another and we bridge the gap, the sin, the missing the mark in our marriage. We bridge it between the two of us, couples, in their marriage. I think that is, first you need to kind of understand what it means, right?
And I don't know about you, but I think everybody has moments in their life where they also just need to forgive themselves for things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about,
How so? I'm interested. How so?
yeah, I think my root thought was, how many times has God had to forgive me? Before I've grown into the person that I am today, but I have a past, and I needed forgiveness at one point in my life. And so when I'm hurting or I'm angry and I'm tempted not to forgive, that's what I remind myself of. How many times was I not worthy of being forgiven?
So can we actually touch right on that word and say what forgiveness really means and not what it doesn't? So what exactly to you does forgiveness mean in its wholesome word? It doesn't mean forgiveness push it under the rug.
No.
Oh.
For me, I like to get there, though. We talk about in what it means, what love is, and it says keep no records of wrong. And I've seen a lot of relationships where, we meet with people and it's, well, they could tell me everything their spouse did wrong for the last 20 years. And I'm like, and they insist, no, I forgave them. But then why are you still remembering? I
Yeah.
don't want to hold resentment over you. I love loving. I love love. I love what we have. So if I'm holding on to each and every thing that you did wrong, how can I like truly, really deeply continue to love you?
You're not letting it go then.
No.
And you're sweeping it under the rug, because if you pick up that rug, you're going to see it all
Because then the
still.
next fight comes up and I'm bringing back everything that you did for the
Right.
last 20
So it's not
years.
about it's not sweeping it under the rug. We want to sweep it into the garbage. We want to put it into a dustpan and get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's not, we don't want to put it under the rug.
Because
Let's
then it
get
comes
rid of it.
back, right? At some
Yeah.
point you got to lift up that rug and it comes back.
Yeah. Let's get
So
rid of it completely.
yeah, it's for me, like forgiving is I got to get to a place where I can
Right.
keep no records of that wrong. I don't want to. I don't want to bring it forward into the future with
Yeah.
us.
Because people are, they harbor feelings, they judge. I say it all the time. I don't know what gives the right to anybody to judge anybody else for their life, their actions, the things they've been through or done. You have no right to judging anybody. Listen to me. You have no right to judging anybody.
Judge yourself
Nobody.
first.
That's right.
Yeah.
Judge yourself first.
Yeah.
So let me. That's good. You got like
Yeah.
you listen to me
fire.
right now.
Yeah, because it's true though, right? Because I hear it
It
all
is.
the time, and I hear people going off, and I often don't say it because I don't want to be offensive, but who are you to judge? I understand that you're feeling, what your feelings are, and I'm not saying that your feelings are not valid, but really, who are you to judge? Let's look at ourselves first.
Yeah.
And let's fix ourselves first. And that's where I think a lot of the forgiveness and healing starts, when we start to work on ourselves
Yeah.
first.
Now, how do you? It's all part of relearning. So how do you relearn intimacy after hurt? Now, intimacy doesn't just mean in the sexual aspect. Intimacy can also be in the connection, emotional connection. So how do you relearn not constantly feeling that hurt?
It takes time and effort. Good relationships don't just happen. You got to be, we say it all the time, intentional.
Intentional,
Is your favorite word.
yes.
And so it's being intentional, not just assuming it's going to fix itself and everything's going to go back to the way it was all on its own. But how was it when we first started dating? Like how much work did you put in the beginning before there was anything, any hurt, any wrong, and you were all in? Like start back from those baby steps, those early steps, those take the time, put in the effort, be intentional. And I'm always from a heart posture of how can I serve you? And I think too, like, we can't fight with ourselves, right? And I think sometimes when we're in something, it's got to be two-sided if we're gonna fight. So if you're upset with me and I'm just continuing to pour out love and show you love, how long can you stay upset before you're like, you feel that love and it penetrates and you're gonna, step forward back with that same love.
I said it the other day, right? You could be upset. And if I come around and laugh and giggle and poke at you and smile, and, as you continue being upset, it's only a matter of time before your upset turns into a smile.
You change the whole atmosphere.
And then we can move on in that genre.
Now, how does faith, as the foundation of a relationship, when love feels fragile? So, if everything is very sensitive, like it's like an eggshell, one small little tap and it's going to crack. How do you put faith in the forefront of all of your struggles?
After a storm, faith becomes the anchor. So when we're struggling between each other, and I know sometimes you just need time too, right? Or healing takes time. So, God, like, I need you to work in this. God, I need you to be a part of it. God, like,
Well, you have to understand there's the God, the same God on the land is the same God out in the waters as a storm. It's the same God. So it doesn't matter where you are in what season you're navigating. It's the same God of the land when you're in paradise is the same God on the sea when you're in the midst of that storm.
yeah. And, you turn to God, right? Like and I think sometimes you got to be okay with the fact that it is a journey. And sometimes it takes people different times to get somewhere,
Well,
right?
there
On
is,
that journey.
yeah, there's no destination for your journey of marriage. There is no destination. You will forever be on this journey. It never ends. You don't get to reach to a point and say, "Oh, that's it. It's done. I've done my part. We're finished. Moving on. This is going to be our status quo moving forward." You always strive for better. You always strive for happier. The journey never ends. This is not a temporary fix. This is a forever thing. You get into it and it's forever in love, and that is what your marriage should be.
I think especially in this type of stuff too, though, like prayer, the power of prayer. When sometimes you're in that and there's nothing that you can do. There's nothing left for you to say. And it just takes time to heal. And you're like, you got to pray. You got to pray through it. God, help me heal. Help me get past this.
Now, have you guys realized that when you first started in your relationship, were you looking to God more than how you are now? Like, what has happened in 13 years? Have you consistently been saying, God, I need you? Or was that early on and it's progressively now been, I need my wife, I need my husband?
It'll be different for both of us. Um, I that's not what I was looking at in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have the faith component that I have today.
That's right.
So it's very different. I don't think I can answer that.
You basically
question.
didn't have it.
Yeah.
Like you fully had it and you didn't. And then you introduced him to this third strand.
Yeah.
The more that I saw God work in my life, the more I realized I need him. So I actually feel like I need him more today than I did because I've seen how he works.
We say he God?
He God.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, early on in my faith, there's a lot of things that I just naturally think that I can do on my own. I'm a doer. It'll fix itself. I can do it. And then there's moments where there's nothing I can do. And I turn to God and I see God do what only he can do. And so it's taught me how much I need God and how much I can't do it on my own. So I would say I'm dependent on him more now than I ever have been, just seeing and knowing what he can do.
Now, because you guys have weathered many storms, clearly, because behind the scenes, I listen to stories, and you guys have weathered a lot of storms. Despite all these storms, do you feel that other couples that are dealing with storms currently, they're currently in a storm, and they look at you guys and say, "But I want to be there. How come I have to go through this storm to get to where you guys are?" What is this journey that people must navigate in order to get to the better side?
Well, we see time and time again that there's inner work within, we're always pointing the finger at the other person. It's their fault. It's when there's a work that needs to be done in us first. And I would say that's probably the common theme that I've been recognizing, and even us early on, like there's things in me that needed work. There's things, yeah, like, again, we're always pointing the finger at the other person. You need to do this better. You didn't do that. You did this.
Right.
And
No,
I think when we're
always,
in the storm, I think what God is often, not always, but often when you're in the storm, there's something God is trying to do in you, to shape you, to grow you into who you need to be.
right. Sometimes the storm is not God reshaping you, but the enemy trying to
But God can
throw you off a track.
take everything that the enemy meant for evil and turn it for good.
Yeah.
So he'll use what the enemy is doing to work for good in you,
Right, and that's
and in
where
your situation.
and that's where we put faith first in everything that we do. We know that it's the long haul. We're very intentional in what we do.
Alex, you gotta, man, I always have the button off because I want to hear you guys. Alex, you gotta read the hook for me.
Sometimes the most beautiful version of love is the one that survived the storm.
See, now.
Better on the other side of it.
Yeah, I preach it all the time. If you can get through the storm, you'll be stronger than ever at the end of it.
Now, wait. I knew you were going to say that. That's why I came prepared. What about, guys, if this storm is a hurricane? It's not just a tropical storm. It's a hurricane. And it's not going to last a couple of hours. It's going to last a couple of days. How do you mentally, physically, emotionally prepare yourself for a storm that you know you're going to have to weather sooner or later. So the people who look at you and say, oh man, I don't want to do this, but I have to. What do you say to those people?
So it goes back to the story I said earlier, where one spouse for 10 years, 10 long years, weathered the storm and never lost hope, never stopped praying, and at the end of it, found peace and restoration. Not only that, but the other spouse also came to Christ.
We lost Maya. I think the most important thing that we have to
continue there.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And hold on, because you know that the storm eventually passes and God sees you through the storm. Remember what God has done and know that the storm does end. And we all run towards comfort. We all run towards easy. But when you get to the other side of the storm, you know, and we've been through and we've walked through things, you're so much better on the other side.
The path that's narrow and cramped usually leads to the most beautiful destinations.
Yeah, it's the difficult paths that lead to the most beautiful places.
But it's not easy. Okay, guys, the very last thing on this episode might be the most difficult question to answer, but this is what we do on this podcast. We ask the difficult questions and try to give the best answers. What about if there are those couples, relationships that not only do they weather the storm, but they relish in the storm. They like being in the storm. They like the heat of it, not necessarily because they feel like they're winning or losing, just because that's just what they do. How can we change their mindset and show them that there's a better way?
Usually one or the other. I think if you both enjoy the storm, there's nothing to change. And listen, it sounds funny, but it's true, right?
Yeah.
That's how you function.
I know couples like that.
Yeah.
That they both like it, or does one of them like it and the other one is like, this is not for me anymore?
I know some that it's both. They like the drama together. They're both always going at it. And those people, I'm like, okay.
Is that healthy though? I wonder if that's mentally healthy.
I think it's the way they love each other. I think it's just the way they show love.
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
is that love? Is that love?
It can be, absolutely.
Really?
It can be, yeah. I mean, if we're both showing love the same way,
poking and bickering, and obviously there's limits to it.
Yes.
But
Like
yeah.
those unhealthy jabs. I hear it often than not. And I think you guys do as well. You go out somewhere, go to a restaurant, maybe go double date or whatever, and there's these uncomfortable jabs that they get, but you guys don't get. So who's wrong here? You guys that don't get it, or them that they're doing it?
well,
look at these questions.
It's the context, really, and we may never understand it, really. If it is something that is more serious and it's one-sided, and you have a spouse that's always poking or always jabbing, and you have the other spouse saying, hey, listen, you really make me feel uncomfortable when you do that, or you make me feel less than, or I feel belittled. When you have situations like that, it's the opportunity to have a discussion and try to have it corrected internally. But sometimes you need help, and that's where a person like Kevin Copeland would come in and walk you through it and try to navigate the storm within. And
I think when you're not getting anywhere, a key thing is to bring in a mediator. Like when you feel like you're really just not hearing each other, because
someone neutral.
Yeah, we've been there too, where it's like it feels like you're speaking different languages, and it feels like it doesn't matter what I say, you're not actually getting, you're not understanding the core of what I'm trying to say to you, and we've seen that a lot too, and sometimes you just need somebody completely on the outside with, completely impartial, who has no favorites, no nothing, to come in and just help you navigate the difficult conversations, or help you see the things, one of the two, see the things that they're not seeing on their own.
I just had this conversation. I'm like, you guys, it literally is what I said. You guys are speaking two different languages. You're speaking from a place of hurt and regret, and the other person is speaking from a place of anger and resentment. So you guys are having conversations, but they're two different languages. So you guys aren't understanding what each other is saying. And you do need a third party, but you have to be very careful who that third party is. If it's a, you know, a friend who is navigating the same things in their life, then their misery loves company and they will drag you
It's
down with
good.
them. And, you know, or, you know, you've reached the end of the road and you say, well, you know, this is going to go, we're going to get a divorce, we're moving forward. And you start to introduce other people that are, you know, in favor of it because there's a monetary gain at the end of it. You know, lawyers and people that are out there trying to
Mhm.
help you navigate the situation, but it's really only to fill their own pockets. So you have to be very, very, very careful who you bring in to help navigate that storm.
Mhm.
Alex is on fire.
Yeah.
He is on fire. So now, guys, it comes to the point where if someone hears everything you're saying and wants to have more resources, more connection, more structure, where could they go and find this?
You know, honestly, in times of need, please reach out to us directly. Reach out to us through our website, which is faithfullyeverafter.ca. Reach out through us through any of our social platforms, through a link tree, you'll find it all. Reach out to us because we may not be able to help you and may help every situation, but we can help walk through it with you. We can help guide you and direct you and put you hopefully in a place that makes a little more sense. If it's not us, it'll be someone who's qualified to do it.
Maya, what can they find on your website? Your website has a lot of resources on it.
Yeah, so we've got lots of different resources. We've got a blog up there with some great topics that you can read through and look through. And we've got some questionnaires and things on there too that just help you kind of identify you, your styles, who you are as a couple. And then we've got something that we actually offer to couples called Symbis, Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. But it is designed not just for as a pre-marriage tool, but also during marriage. So when you go through this and you answer, there's a series of questions there. It'll actually direct you based on your life situation, your circumstance, whether you're married, whatever stage you're at. And it just develops a full report between you and your spouse. And you can meet with us. We do about 7 or 8 sessions together and walk you through it and
Wait,
help.
did you say you can meet with us?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah. We walk you through it and just help you. It even goes into things like, you know, traumas from your past, how you're raised, cultural things, different life patterns, topics that you don't always think to talk about in marriage, but have a strong impact on your
Right.
marriage.
And it may not always be, you know, sitting down at a Starbucks and actually having a coffee together, which we do. It may look like a Zoom call,
Yeah.
you know, where we'll sit overseas. You may want to fly us out to California. We're happy to come out.
And the producer of the show, you know, we all fly together.
Yeah.
But there are resources. So for the people who think, man, I have nowhere to go, that's not true.
No.
we
Check
will.
out our website.
Yeah. And if we don't have it, we'll find it for you.
And if these people also want us to have a tagline, I think we have that too.
We are rooted in faith.
Growing in love.
That's faithfully ever after.
Till next time, guys.
I am loved.